Do I have a good one for you guys today? A good amount of you guys have been asking for this one. What is up, Fin fans? You could tell by the title, I got my guy Curtis from Ace Per Head on the channel. We talked Miami Dolphins football. We had a lot to talk about. If you haven't gone and subscribed to him yet, after listening to him talk today, you should really go over and check him out and subscribe. He's very knowledgeable about football, about the trenches. That is a big talking point that we had about teamwork and a lot of stuff. It wasn't particularly to one instance, like one subject. I had a great conversation with him. He even asked me some questions, which was awesome. So go check it out and then go check out his channel and hit that subscribe button. Let's get him to 10,000 subs. He's at 8.08. Let's try to get him to 10,000 by the end of the weekend because he deserves it. He does really great work. Curtis, thank you so much for stopping by. Without further ado, me and Curtis's talk, and then I will see you guys on Monday with more Miami Dolphins football. You guys have been asking for it. I got my man Curtis from Ace Per Head on the channel. Curtis, how you doing, bud?
I don't know. Just before we started this thing, you told me I got the big Saturday special, and I think you're trying to freeze me, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah, man. A lot of people love your stuff, and they're obviously subscribed to the both of us, and they're like, you got to get them on. They think we're gonna gel well together, and I think so. You were cracking me up before we came on. So.
Dude, I never wanted to do this thing, man. I really didn't. I had a couple opportunities. Mm-hmm. My sponsor asked me to do it. I said, nah, I ain't going to do it. My wife goes, what? You're going to do it. So I started doing this thing because she said I had to do it. And I love it, dude. I don't like being in front of a camera. I don't like the whole content. I just love football. Yeah. I love people. I love talking about it, I'm an old guy with kids. I don't get to go to the bar and hang out and shoot the, beep, PG channel over here. So, I've learned to love it. I just don't like the whole camera thing, but man, you're easy. You're like I said, you're like the Johnny Carson. You got the smooth, easy thing going. I'm like Mr. Neurotic.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's just lucky I got a degree in this, so that's why I'm better acclimated to this stuff. But I'm right there with you, man. It's just that's the thing with like guys like us. If I bumped into you at a bar and you saw me wearing this hoodie, you'd be like, oh, a Dolphins fan, and we would probably close the bar. Just sitting there talking Dolphins all night.
That's the beauty of it, man. And it's not, look, for me, some people don't get it. It's not just Dolphins. It's football. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go through the history of mankind. There's never been a game, except the game of war, that has been, there's so much nuance. There's so much intangibility. It's like the beautiful girl you're always chasing, but you can never have. Mm-hmm. And I just love the game. My brain goes all the time, and I just love crunching numbers, watching film, trying to figure out this like Ahab chase of the white whale. I just love football. It's like a game. It's not changing the world and stuff, but it's fun, man.
Yeah,
I love talking it.
It is. It's like you got these two head coaches going against each other. Yin and yang. Okay, he makes a move. I need to make a move, and yeah, man. And I think that's what makes it different for guys like us, because we love that stuff. Okay, well, he's making that adjustment. What is Mike McDaniel going to do? Is he going to keep running the ball? Is he going to stop running the ball? Which we all know. Choices
under pressure, and it's just like I don't think people really get it. So I'm a little nobody, and you're pretty big in this community, but it's not like Bill. But I'm like nervous coming on here. I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna? And that's just like little pressure. Could you imagine guys 300 pounds? I was going to put this on my podcast, but there was a story. I think it was Testaverde. He got sacked and hit so hard, 3 teeth came out.
Oh,
can you imagine the pressure of everything around you, all that crowd, and unbelievable violence? And you've got to make the right decision like that. It's crazy. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and crazy.
And that's why, like, when people are so like instantly ridiculing, like Tua, prime example. Like, he gets so much hate, especially from this fan base, just oh, we haven't done anything in his first 4 years, but then they like forget that it took Peyton Manning 6 to win a
Oh
playoff
yeah.
game. It's
Oh,
like
yeah. Breeze, Brady. I mean, Brady won early, but look how it was set up.
It's not easy to be, and so the success that he has and the things that he does well. Now, obviously, he doesn't do everything well because if he did, we would be in a different situation. But you know, the things he does well are hard. That anticipation, the window throws, and everything. It's
to me, it's the release.
Yeah.
You know, people always say, like, you can go back and check. You know, when I first started in this crazy gig, I talked about I broke Tua down. Like, I was like, what is this guy going to be? I didn't like, you know, the 220 season the way it went. I'm like, man, this guy's release is elite. You can build off that. And I really said that was my platform. He does have an elite trait, the accuracy, anticipation, and then that release. Now, does that translate to a Super Bowl? Well, there's a lot that goes into that. You know, there's so much. Look at, I was trying to, you know, sometimes I do, like you had Richmond Webb on the other day, and you got like maybe like 6,000 views. I figured that thing would be like 20. You know what I'm saying? I watched it like twice, you know, and so sometimes like I'll do things that I think like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Like I had Al from 3 Yards Per Carry tell this story about Whitlands, and I made this whole thing up, spent all day. I got like no views, you know, but the thing is, Marino, I did this little thing on Marino. You check Marino, Dwight Stevenson goes down. He valleys for 2 or 3 years. I mean, he threw double the picks. Quarterback rating went to the tubes. No playoffs. They draft Webb and Sims, and all of a sudden, boom, he's back up again. It's like, you know, it's so much goes into this thing. It's not just one guy. You know, it's a team game. So it's hard. It's hard to evaluate. It really is.
Yeah, and that's, you know, obviously too is the quarterback, and the quarterback gets that limelight on him, and
power, baby.
You want to be paid $55 million? We're gonna stare at you. We're gonna put the light on you. But it's like certain nuances, and I've talked about this a lot this past week, and it's that Tennessee Titan game. Now, obviously, Tua gets 1 first down. You know, after they go, you know, get the 8 points, we get like 1 first down. I think we win that, but people forget about. And I keep bringing up that Bradley Chubb penalty where he threw his helmet off.
One moment. There's inches everywhere.
They would have kicked a field goal, worst case scenario, or had to go for it on 4th down. He throws his helmet out of frustration, which, you know, it's hindsight because I like the frustration because he wanted to get the sack on Levis, but also you got to keep your composure. You know, go on the sideline, throw your helmet. You know, do that. But that
was the craziest thing. I lost electric that night, and I was listening to like YouTubers talk about it. And once they put that 13 points on, I'm like, I can't stand listening to this thing. That electric going in and out. So I go to bed. I'm like, baby, they won. We won. We're in control. I wake up next morning. I'm like, I'm gonna have an easy podcast. I'm like, what? They lost. What the heck? I gotta go back and rewatch. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
That was me. I went down to Miami for the Giants game, and the Saturday before was the Hurricanes game where they lost because they didn't just run the ball. And I left the stadium. I was like, it's because it was brutal. It was so hot and brutal. So I left. I'm like, they won. Blah, blah, blah. My friend called me. He was like, don't ever go to a Hurricanes game again. I was like, why? They won. He was like, put on ESPN.
It's such a gut punch. You actually feel like somebody punched you right in the heart. There was a like you shudder, like your whole body shudders. Like, what? Oh my God, it was crazy. But I want to talk about something. I just want to say one last thing about that Titan game. Nobody brings this up. All right, so you get that 13-point swing. You get Titans go down for the touchdown. The Dolphins come out, and the Titans, for the first time on the day, in that second to last drive, brought out a 4-3 defense. They ran nickel all day, and we couldn't run on them. We come out and run against the 4-3, which lowers our odds 2 plays in a row. We couldn't order. If we had got into that, we should have audibled out into a pass. That would have been a pass-friendly environment. But we got there. We ran our motions. We couldn't even adjust in that moment. And so I thought that was a very big coaching failure. How can you run the football twice against a run-heavy defense? Okay, first down, maybe they catch you. The coaches catch you. But at second down, I just thought that was that set us up, the tension, the momentum. And I think it more goes into it just saying, oh, we couldn't pass and whatever else. It was just a lot that goes into it. And really, and I think that those little things kind of escape people. It's a huge difference. I mean, one extra linebacker. You couldn't run against 2 linebackers and 5 DBs. You know what I mean? And why couldn't we audible out? I don't know.
This is why you have to go subscribe to this, man. These little, like, you kidding me?
Man, no wonder you got 50,000 subs, man. You got to do the deal.
And it's funny because we talk about Tua, and my biggest thing with him getting paid the most is he still needs to take that last step. There's, to me, you know, he's like 80 to like 90%. He's good to be a franchise quarterback. There's that like 10%, and it's that little hurdle he needs to get over. It's the same thing with Mike McDaniel, because we saw it in Germany, 2 running plays. We get it down to the 31, 4 passes in a row. It's this thing that like he thinks like, oh, we know what we're doing type of situation. Just stick to what's working. Don't.
I have a personal belief. I want to ask you though, why? Okay, so what's your internal take on what's going on, the driving force between holding us back? And I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say it without saying my point of view, because then it's like I'm feeding you, you know.
So essentially, you want to know like why.
Yeah, what's the key?
Like the last 3 games, what are we tripping up on?
Yeah, and it's season after season. It's a repetitive theme through many regimes.
Just, and I talked about this, I think, in yesterday's video. It's not just Mike McDaniel and Tua. It has been, you know, when we faced Peyton Manning in Denver with Adam Gase, we were ready for the playoffs. Collapsed after that. It's like a mental fart with our head coaches where they like overthink things, and then it's just horrible luck on the injury side. I think that was the biggest thing this year, especially with the Titans game. Once Connor Williams went down, the whole game plan went up. Even in the beginning of the year, Connor Williams goes down, and then Teron Armstead goes down against Buffalo after going tit for tat scoring plays. That's what's really started to affect us. But I think it's like this mental block that they get where they're like, we need to win this to do something, and they don't. I think we're starting to get over that hurdle, because last season we had to beat Dallas to clinch a playoff spot, and they did it.
Maybe oh man, that's that fumble in the red zone, man. By the Dallas opening, I was so big, dude.
So maybe we're starting to get over that, but it's been a thing that's been hindering us. The late collapse and the cold weather for like decades. But what do you got to say?
I mean, I think like it wasn't my thesis to start when I started doing this thing, but someone coined me as like, you're the offensive line channel, and I don't think people truly understand. I'm not saying I do. I played up to a small level, junior college, but I got hit by Division I guys that went on to be Division I. And the violence, the need to control that line of scrimmage, I don't think people truly understand. So it's like the offensive line sets the, you know, all Madden, pro, all pro, and pro level for the offense. And really, if you're going to evaluate, an average offensive line is the best way to evaluate the talent. But whatever increment is above that average, the job of the skills gets easier, and then you have to evaluate them with a grading curve away from them. But every level underneath that, you have to grade to an average curve towards them. And if you're getting into the postseason, you're getting into bad weather games, controlling that line of scrimmage, running that football, it doesn't mean teacupping it, but at certain times, controlling what I call 4-point tension. I don't know if I was told that, but that's not the term I was used. But it's pressing the deep, forcing them to pay attention to the short and the outsides, the left and right boundaries. You got 11 guys covering, say, a 30-yard by 50-yard box, 1,500 square feet. That's like 144 feet per player. And the more you draw guys into the box or force them to blitz, you begin weakening that secondary and forcing guys to cover more and more space. And you look at us starting back in the Titans game in 21. They rush 4, play nickel, stop our run, even when we're in big packages, and then drop 7 all day. That's not a conducive environment for anybody.
No.
And so to me, it goes back to the O-line.
And you look at in 2021, the weather.
Oh, yeah.
You had Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball 17 times. You had Tua throwing it 35.
Yep.
Like, you can't.
And that was the 45th best offensive line in football that year. People don't realize how bad that O-line was in 21. And that's a mitigating factor for Tua. Not saying Tua is the guy, a Super
Yeah.
Bowl. But when you try to work on his floor, you got to start with the O-line, man. Marino was affected, and he's the best.
Yeah. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And they were saying after that, is he really as good as we think?
Mm-hmm. It's all about the trenches, man. It's all about the trenches.
It is. You don't need to have top 5 or top 10,
No.
although that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had Larry Allen and the Dallas 90s Cowboys, we'd be undefeated, but you need some coherence. And I hear people say stuff that I totally disagree with. Maybe they're right, but I just spend so much time on the O-line because that's the setting for everything for me,
Yeah, because there's that narrative that came out about Tua that he's a one-read quarterback when actually I'll pop a chart up so people could see it, but he's below league average when it comes to throwing to his first reads. But had a lot to do with time to throw, had a lot to do with 31st ranked pass block win rate.
Oh, yeah.
But he was hit the least most in the NFL because he was getting the ball out quick.
That release is the platform for his success.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go into all the systems, it's not anybody who tells you this is the only system that quick release will play out in is wrong. Totally wrong. And look, there's 4 ways to mitigate pressure. Call screens, play actions, shorten the time to throw, and adding blockers to pass into the block to slow down the pass. We were number 2 in screens. We went from 5% in 22 to 15%. We dropped our play action from 43% to 30%, but still very high because you're keeping 2 more. That means you're going from 3 and 4 guys in routes to 2 and 3 because the running back stays in, the tight end, and maybe even some other guy. And our time to throw was 2.09. And I had my own stat blockers per pass, and we were very high in that. And so all that says that McDaniel understood. Maybe Tua is not the guy to go through whatever. You could say that because look at the time to throw. But the rest of this stuff tells you McDaniel philosophically, play call, understood he needed to boost the protection with artificiality. And we were the only team in the league, top 5 in all 3 of those categories. Only one. That says O-line played a major part. Does it mean Tua was the guy? Does it mean they were all about the O-line? No, but it says the O-line was very seriously a major part in why we did what we did.
Yeah, and it was about those quick passes. It was about those slants. It was about those, especially in the playoff game, you're facing the number 1 defense in the NFL. He kept trying to throw bubble screens, and
he had no choice.
Negative, 17-degree weather, you can't plant and drive on those throws, and it's
brutal because they knew pocket pass, flies, screens, outside runs, and occasional out, and you can cover all that with the same thing. You run your 4, drop your linebackers. Look at Roquan Smith. He knew. He waited.
Yeah.
He waited. They know. Look at Waddle. That safety dropped and then came off just to pop Waddle and knock him out of the game. They know. But let's be positive. What's your positive? I want to be positive because people are going to say I'm like the Grinch of the Dolphins, man. I do believe there's positives. I really do. Yeah. What's your big positives for this offense?
The amount of weapons and the evolution, because it's not like McDaniel's first year, it was good. And then the second year it fell off. It consistently is still good. And now what they do is, we had Waddle and we had Hill on the field only 40% of the time. Like, that's crazy to me. Now you're adding Odell Beckham. You're adding Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, a guy who's ridiculous after yards after contact. Like, just you're adding, and then Malik Washington. I know he's a late round.
I'm excited about him.
Yeah, exactly. They draft the second best running back in the draft.
Him too, Jalen Wright. Yep.
And you have Achane coming. So there's now weapons. And I think, McDaniel did that because he realized, look, I'm not going to always have Hill and Waddle on the field at the same time. And even Kurt Warner talked about it. Yes, Tua needs to work on going through his progressions, but McDaniel needs to make it a better situation. Instead of stacking receivers in one spot, have them be in a situation where he can go through it.
I think there's a lot in that whole thing you were saying. There's so much. You could call it hopium. You could call it hope. you call positive outcomes, but within that we can.
Yes.
I think there's a lot in there, man. A lot.
Yeah. And it's, you know, if they continue on the trajectory, even Tua been getting better year after year. You know, there's always these little stigmas. Can't throw it deep. Can't, you know, can't do this, can't do that, can't stay healthy. He's proving it wrong year after year after year. And, you know, it's another positive for the people who want to take that positive. Can he? Now, will he get paid?
I don't want to talk about the Tua paid thing, man. That thing is like, I feel like I got like brain cancer or something.
I stopped asking people about that because it's like, it's to the point now where it's like, now people are trying to come up with like conspiracy theories about it. Like they're not paying him because even though like they don't understand how this negotiation process goes. It's not like here's your contract. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm going to sign it. Like Joe Burrow took till September when he was in his negotiation process. Even though it was last year, it's a process.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about something you put out the other day, and it was a very good video.
Hopefully it's good.
About Sealer. Zach Sealer,
yeah.
And his production. Now, to me, it's that yin and yang, that, you know, egg, chicken type situation. What did he have 10 sacks because Wilkins was to his left, and did Wilkins do good because Sealer was to his left? I don't think we're going to really know about Wilkins because he's now playing with one of the best defensive ends in football. But do you think Sealer is going to be as productive as he was?
If you can go back, I was I write for Finn's News. It's like a online thing or whatever. And I was the first person I had seen anywhere to go crazy about Zach Sealer being brought over in that little deal. And I watched him play, saw him a little bit play in his Dolphins games. I was very excited. Zach Sealer to me is an exceptional player. Perro, as my Spanish wife would say, but it's Wilkins is really good at 0 to 5. I think he's better in like a 3 and a 2. Sealer is better in the 5 and the 3. Once he starts getting inside on uncertain downs, run pass downs, he runs into a little problem because I've shown in film, because he's so high and the way he's made, he gets doubled and his hips buckle. And the pocket breaks. But as a 4-3 DI, say out in the 3 tech, in a 3-4 in the DN spot, he's unbelievable. But certainly, how could you? It's like Abbott and Costello. You know, you put them together and they're magic. You take them apart, and yeah, they both got their thing, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
But we do have my man Conan Campbell. And so I think that's going to help a ton. I am concerned, though, about the 0-1 technique. That's a major concern I have. If you look at last year, we ran A-gap DT 200 times. Davis did it 173, Wilkins 31. But the Ravens, who were mimicking, ran it 300 times. And half those times they had Pierce. And Pierce is the best A-gapper in the league. He's immovable. And so we need, like, if you look at the Ravens, once they stopped you on that first down, especially with like a run, and they were slowing your run down, they were the best in the league and one of the lowest quarterback ratings. But once that run got off, especially on first down, those light packages struggled. They fell behind in the arms race. And so that, to me, that A gap. And I like Peely. Some people talk of Benito Jones. I'm not big on him. Because we run like a 1 gap. We're shooting those gaps.
Yeah.
And so Benito Jones is a good guy. He'll man you up. He'll get in you. And he's a good, okay piece, but not so good in the run game. I just like Peely a lot. He's got that burst. He's got that agility to shoot that gap and clog things up. So that I don't really like. I mean, I like Hand a lot, but he's small and he only had 200 snaps.
Yes.
So I don't like Sealer in that 0-1. I like him in 2. I like him anywhere in a pass down. But those, the even, like the unbalanced downs where you don't know what's coming, or first down, or the red zone, it's a little concerning. So we got to see where we get there. See how it plays out.
Now I'm wondering if they're going to use Sealer like they used. I can't pronounce his name. The defensive tackle who got the contract from the Ravens, because he was the main guy.
Oh, Malbuke?
Yeah, and they
I'm probably screwing it up. I screw everybody's names up.
So do I. That's
I
why
didn't remember my kid's name, so
I don't even try. I don't even try anymore. It took me a while to get Eric Izukama.
I don't even say to his last name. I don't. I refuse.
Or when we got No Egg Monogamy, I got that right away because I was like, people are going to get on me about that. But what they did with him is he was the main piece, and then they kept, having that hockey rotation around him. I'm wondering if they're going to do that. But again, like
I think they will.
It's put seal. This is what I like about Curtis Weaver is I think he's going to put people where they need to be. And I think that's the difference. And I'm not crapping on Fangio because Fangio did a lot with nothing at some points in the season. But he was more like, this is my defense. I need you to work here. Whereas it seems like Weaver is going to be like, you're going to be best here and you're going to be best doing this. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think and especially because, he's learned from some of the best and he's played the position like he was a defensive lineman. That's why I'm really like, I'm trusting the process with the 500 defensive tackles we have, but I'm still like, that position and the interior offensive line still make me very nervous. Like, is there a position on this team that makes you nervous?
Oh yeah. I come from a coach player's perspective. I'm always nervous. I'm always nervous, dude. That's what I say. Like, I'm type A German personality. I'm always, and that's what I try to do in my channels. Because every year they kept telling me for decades, we're gonna win this year, and they tell me why, and then we lose, and I'm like, man, I feel like once bitten, 70 times shy. So. Look, if Tehran goes down, we're in big trouble.
Yes.
If Tehran stays healthy all season, that's gigantic. If Sealer stays healthy all season, that's gigantic. If Campbell can stay healthy until Chubb and Phillips can get back, that's gigantic. Because those are irreplaceable pieces. Rams, you could put them in there too, but I still think you can kind of mask it a little bit because you need that front.
Yeah.
You got to have that front. Everything starts from the line of scrimmage. It all starts there. Consistencies on both sides starts there. And if we can hold, you look at the Ravens, they control time of possession.
Yeah.
They ran the ball a ton. That keeps the defense fresh. And when you got a small defense that's fresh, they make plays. Small defense or any defense that's tired gives up plays. And so it's going to start with us, I think, on offense, getting those points, making the the offenses throw that football, not sit in, hey, we can run, we could be balanced, we're playing tight. We got to get out a little early and drive them and get them chasing. And then we can start blitzing. They won't run enough. And then we get out of these games early.
Yeah.
These games drag on. And by the end of the year, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, sorry, man. I thought it was me. It's always me. Yes, the big guy screwed up. I didn't do it. It's always me, dude. I'm always dropping. So great. You've made my life, man. Keep that. Anyway, so I'm always a tech disaster. So that's a thing, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I agree. And, I talk about it all the time because you could stop the run. You force the quarterback to pass, and then your pass rush gets there quick enough. He doesn't have all the time in the world, especially against these guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. You saw that on Thursday night against the Ravens when we were sending that zero blitz. He had no time to do anything. And then on the flip side, if we can run the ball, then all of a sudden they're trying to stop the run. You got play action over the top. And
that's what it's all. That's why I think too is release can transport into another style. He doesn't. When you run play action and you put that ball in and you turn your back, the defense. That's why him being on the center, they lose sight of the ball and they've got to freeze. They just can't spot and drop because when you're in shotgun, you see it. And then when he does that play action or the pullback, he has the speed to release it to get between those linebackers and safeties and hit that tight end, hitting the post or whatever he wants. So it can transport into all the systems with a good O-line, a good run game. And I think a tight end is the biggest piece. I think Jonnu Smith is massive for so many reasons.
Yeah, I agree. But Curtis, thanks for stopping by, man.
I appreciate it, brother. I really do. I had a great time, man. I was real nervous, but I calmed down a little bit. Got a big mouth. I'm from New York. I didn't know you were from Jersey, man.
Yeah, man. My
wife's from Jersey.
Yeah, Bayonne, born and raised, and then I moved over to like Middlesex County. So
awesome. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to say that we are a Northeasterner loving the South, Eastern team. So we're simpatico.
100%. I will definitely have you on. Go subscribe to his channel. This is one of the main reasons why I brought you on, because I listened to you and I listened to your intellect and your football knowledge, and I'm like, people need to hear this.
Wow, man. I guess my bonus to you has to go up with all that shine, dude. Man, it just went up tenfold. I'm not a rich guy like you. It's too much commercial, buddy. Tone it down.
But for real, go subscribe to his channel. Help him out. Curtis, we will do this again real soon.
I appreciate it, brother. Definitely. Thank you so much.